ground, footing phase,
Okay.
and our is somewhere here, SUPP. Alright. There's major river system that is actually going through that one. This is, if we want to treat it as a sewage where we throw our rubbish, so be it. But this, these are all the arterial lines that are coming out, and they are all serving into this Sungai Sarawak. Okay, and this is where they all go out. This is the causeway, the barrage. Barrage is here. This is the causeway at Sing Hang Hong Port there. They cross over to the isthmus. This is where access go and all that. Right. Just keep this map in mind. I'll flip to this at a later stage. So layout on top, I just have introduction, the system, ingredients that we have at hand, existing situation, priorities and conclusions. Just very quickly. Urban development reflection of our economic forces in our society and interaction. Nothing more. Yeah. We build because of economic. Who can afford what? Yeah. So, and the interaction. This one is quite easy to understand. The blueprint is a key to the success and failure of any society. When urban centers is not conducive for living and sustainable, the health of the whole state deteriorates. It's not just that center, it will spread through the whole Sarawak. Okay, this is how we look at it. A new era in Sarawak.
Excuse me. The blueprint, what do you mean? Is it the rivers?
No, the blueprint in architecture and in planning, what we normally talk about is the master plan, is the planning. Blueprint. Blueprint is because in the olden days, before your time, when we print, the film is blue. Not blue film. I'm gonna rephrase that one. It's the print itself. They print it on linen on the bluish colored plastic film, so it will stay.
Sorry if I bring you back. Huh? So it's a plan.
It's a plan for the society.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're talking about project. How do we look at the future?
Basically, master plan.
Yeah. So we call it the new era in Sarawak now because I think after 23 years of Tan Mahmud, the previous chief minister, he's now become the governor. We had Adinan Satem who came in and he died. And because of Adinan, a lot of things, we suddenly sort of seem to wake up from a sleep, a long 30 years sleep. And then we had to rethink. And there's a new expectation, new awakening among all levels. Everybody from hawker right up to even government top level. Even the CM himself. Abang Jo was my classmate a long time. And so we're talking about all levels. So he needs help also. I will skip the historical aspect of planning. You no point. I will try to trim down a lot of the technical stuff. And much of the technical aspect except for the most relevant. So blueprint, good question. Urban centers, success or failure depend on the leadership and the vision. They have to start off, right? They have to get their car first. They have to. If abused by one man's display of power, in other words, you know who I mean, and patronage politics, then the resulting development may spiral downwards in the future, very costly to recover from. Because for many years, the decision of what goes in and out have been built was because of one man. He said yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. So because of that, he's now no longer there. What do we do? It's just a vacuum of big ideas. What do we do now? So if we spiral down, the only way to lift us back is a quantum, somebody come in with big sum of money, 2.6 billion or something, or a political windfall, some shocking thing. Maybe next year, GE 14, we have a new political windfall, intervenes, then everything, shock the whole system. provided the influential leaders and intelligentsia, meaning us lah, those who go to coffee shop to talk, recognize it when it occurs and do something about it. Okay? You don't do anything about it, just ended up coffee shop talk, you know? Alright. Now, planning and development in town. These are all the seven big agencies, the main ones. The government executive, meaning the cabinet. They're the ones who say yes, no, and they're the big guys. They want to influence. The government agency, then you have some civil servant that say, why don't we do this? They are very in-depth to do that. Private enterprise businesses, a lot of you are private enterprises. They say, how about this? I think I know this. And the NGOs, the organizations, private organizations, they may have their own ideas. Individual consumers, this is a very big group. This one, I will buy something, they complain, why got rabies and all that. The citizen action group, then people get together and say, hey, the citizens have to be, they summed up something. I put my friends and myself into this group, advisor, consultant, experts, so-called, because, like it or not, we get to tell our client, our political masters, what we think of certain planning. So there, we also want to involve, and we got friends inside SPA and all that, and we always say that, hey, why don't you do this one, The trouble is, all these, they're also interlinked with each other, okay, on the outside, somehow. But they're all trying to, they are the passenger of the ship. The ship is called urban development. And everyone have an idea where they want to go and tell them, But the trouble is, for many years, this number one is the one that not listening to all the others, and then bully this, right? So I think for the future, we all have to recognize our role and how to get our input in, organize the input, and how to get this center one to be responsive. Our urban centers develop naturally. Kuching, the development all these years is natural. Unlike Putrajaya, unlike Canberra, Basilica, the way you plan one big from a blueprint. Draw it up, present, and every, there's nobody there, no sheep, no kangaroo, no nothing, just build, okay? So, but Kuching, Miri, Bintulu, Tibu, different. We have a history. We are stuck with our history. How do we do it? Okay? Due to our government's commitment to decentralization, and that's why I mentioned earlier on, these centers expanded greatly, especially Kuching and Miri in recent years. I mentioned earlier on, Miri can go as far as Batunu to get their city status. They use figures. Our people, those who work in Kuching may live in Syrian, may live in Bau, Damai area, Matang area. The housing density 8 units per acre. Now, again, this is a very low density, but this is a decision made by the government. For many years, it helped to disperse the population. This because it locked you in at 8 units per acre. The buildings, people all have to go out.
Now it's 10.
Now it's 10. Okay. Good, winning. The agency's building setbacks compared to, again, our setback is more generous. I always ask them, why our setback here is more generous than in Malaya. There, 10 feet to go at the back. Here is 30 feet. Your back wall to the fence, until very recently, was supposed to be 30 feet. And then even next door, your side fencing to your house is 15 feet. I think you care only about.
No,
Okay.
side is the same.
Side is the same,
But
but it's the back.
back length, now SPA allowed 6 meters.
Yeah, 6 meters, 20 feet.
For certain category of housing like Spectra, Sarawak version of low cost, Prima,
it's
they
called
call it
Spectra.
Spectra. Okay?
The fire in Spectra housing is cooler than the fire in housing. That's why they can go nearer. I never understand this, but anyway, this is the thing that has set back. This setback has changed a lot of the shape of our city. Decentralization means township and centers are built further apart. It's an urban sprawl. Two-dimensional spread. Just now you're talking about horizontal and the pro and cons. You have less population congestion, inefficiency in movement, and there's a and networking. The connection is not there.
Transportation.
You have more green areas. Your land prices may be more uniform over a bigger area. And but then on the opposite side, you have increased maintenance, upkeep, sustain your abilities. More money spent on roads, drain, infrastructure. This is the government is facing that now. If you're running out of money, why are we expanding? Why our cities expanding? Urban centers differ by population densities and build. Okay, we use that. Centralization or urban sprawl? What do we want? Planning trends and economic play a big part. So if you plan, if you lock in your laws and say 8 units per acre, then you no chance you have to move out. And the economics, people availability to pay. The third one is very important. A lot of people don't understand. City council, I think our city council here is too slack. It's not enforcing, it's not doing right things. So we really need you, some of you young people, to go into city council and whack it up. They don't realize that they don't realize they need to have a key role in managing the lifestyle and quality of life in the city. They don't realize it. They just talk about getting fees and penalties and money in and raising the coaching fees. Easy thing they can do. The poor management will then allow squalor environment to spread. At the end of the talk, I'll show you some photos of what happens when city councils don't play a role. Now then the opposite side, the three-dimensional, we go upstairs, we go vertical now. Go higher than sideways. We go infrastructural savings, because buildings can be nearer, bring them back into the city. The time save in like sitting in your car in the traffic jam on Monday morning, Tuesday morning. Can even afford to have covered walkways. If the high-rise are nearby in Singapore now, you see all these covered walkways. We worry about rain and we worry about the sun. And we're not doing anything about it, So that's why everybody goes in the car, because number one is things that you want is so far away. Number two is you don't want to feel like walking. Easier organizing management of communities through people and social groups. Because if you go high, then people are all there, easier to organize things. For us architects, more focused design on people-oriented spaces, right? So we have to spend, rather than now a lot of the semi-terrace houses, actually I hardly even design. I don't think I ever designed the last 20 years. It's so straightforward, because you don't spend that type of time that you need to really spend on. When you're doing high-rise, you have no choice, because the space is not yet invented. You have to, as an architect, you really have to put more focused design into those things. More land for agriculture nearby than it lands. See, a lot of the outskirts land now, agricultural land, they rather sell it because there are people who, because of economic sense, the city is expanding, decentralization. So those agricultural land is been bought by developers. They can't help it. Developers come in, they buy. So the agriculture side get further and further away.
Urban sprawl.
Yeah, that's part of the result of the urban sprawl. So because the farmer rather sell the land, make some money than to plant every day. So I think it's good. You go to China, some places, the agriculture look quite near, So we should look at some of these things. Basic ingredient, components of an urban centers. Now, this is, I took inspiration more on this is Singapore. Mentally, they think of residential items, to occupational sectors. In other words, after I show you the breakdown, consumption areas, and the institutional utilities. They call this the basic building block. And infills are what ties the medium that brings it all together. Constructing the urban center. So you have 4 bricks, And they repeat. These 4 bricks, and 8 bricks and 16 bricks, they're all repeated. The thing is, the whole pattern is repeated as you go along. Basically, residential areas, you talk about landed properties, flats, anything that you put people to, human beings to live. Apartments, residential flow, in commercial areas. So you have to be aware of this thing. Occupational sectors, this is where they generate capital, income and finance. Offices, shops, industries, manufacturing, banks. These are the items of that. All spaces of production to sustain that living center, that urban center in the future. Agricultural sector, this is more on the, the producing to sustain the. It's still an occupation. There are people who want to work in the, they plant lemons, the oranges or whatever they supply. So they work there. Consumption areas, these are food. You need to bring food related trades, corner shops, sundry shops, market, hypermarket, whatever, shopping malls, complexes, places that sell goods needed 1, 2 and 4. It's not just food, it's also equipment, garden produce or whatever. It's just normal consumer products. Consumer products that is being sold. 4, this is another group of buildings, and these are the government agency. You have to go and register this, register that. Health facilities, you get sick, this you need this thing. Social needs facilities, educational, sports, religious, community, security, emergency, bomba, police, so security. So this is the institutional. The infield, these are more of the intangibles. Just now, those 4 are buildings where buildings where you put the different categories. 5 is the infield, traffic flow, wastages, critical, environmental things, remove of rubbish, financial movement, of the banks and all those things. ICT facilities, they're doing all this bearing of these cables all over town. So these are the infields. How do you place your services and your utilities so that the 4 building blocks work properly? You need to wire them. This is the wiring. The communication.
I think the more appropriate title may be organs and face.
Yeah, nerves. Nerves, I think. Nerves and bloodline. Maybe, yeah, I like that. Bloodline. Media promotion, Sometimes they have to promote each other where things are. The infields and movement there, the effectiveness and transportation system vital to economic and social health of the urban center. Affordable living rather than affordable housing. We always talk about affordable housing, but what we should talk about is affordable living. When you bought a house and where you work, where you send your children to school, etc. They are you cannot just look at the cost of the house alone. They put the affordable building at Kota Samarahan and say it's cheap there.
Can I interject? Because yesterday ministry labs with us on affordable housing, a new category. We have put forward our idea to the Ministry of Resource Planning already. So I think the government is changing the thinking policy. So they are now talking about more on affordable housing is more flexible. Because we face the need for flexibility. Because now they still categorize as very specific, like spectral light, contact secret.
Contact secret.
Yeah. Then they have a spectral medium.
Cola light. Diet cola.
Then they have a standard attached to it. Now they come up with a new course called Rumah Kamet. Rumah Kamet is actually is to reflect same as what they call it, like Prima. Because Prima is ranging between 250,000 to 300,000. They will have a new category, but it's also a form of what I call stigmatization and compartmentalization. because you're placing people in
Mm.
certain area.
Yeah.
So what we argue for together with planning dispute is that we want flexibility. We want to encourage a modern, healthy, sustainable urban center. So it means you cannot have all the rich people, upper middle
Choice.
class living
The
in one
choice
area.
areas.
You don't want to be like Dubai. Only the
You need
rich
a
live
mix.
there.
You need a mix.
But how about the mates, the workers,
Yeah.
the school teachers, who they have no place to go.
Yeah.
So we told them cannot. You must have a mix. You
You
allow
cannot
the
compare with Dubai.
Yeah.
Because Dubai
You do buy.
is money.
yeah.
You do
So-
buy. Please come in Dubai.
Dubai
do and buy. Do and buy.
selling.
Of course.
They're bringing foreigners.
Yeah.
Sarawak is for Sarawak.
Yeah.
No, we know the mistake. They are doomed for failure.
Yeah.
Because when you make it housing and essential needs as a commodity, it's going to do for failure.
There is one chapter very important that many countries fell up.
Yeah.
How to balance the education and the movement of the rural
Like-
people to the city.
Yeah, I like Philip say that
That's what
affordable
we're talking
living.
about this.
No, I like
You
Philip definition of affordable living.
Yeah.
Because living is more important than
Yeah.
just
That's how you
classification.
gotta look at the big,
Yeah.
everything related.
Not stigmatization as a house. You live
The
in
travel
local-
system
you live in
between
this
house,
part, you
the
know.
workplaces, the
Who
schools,
is living?
for the children.
Everybody have a right to
They
live.
make affordable
Have a
housing,
chance to move
unaffordable.
out or move down. It's up to you.
So
So you must provide the mix for sustainability.
So
I think
in
that's
this one,
also-
then we're talking about the sense of security. So these are all the infills, healthy environment to provide cleanliness and more disciplined community. You know, rather than, I believe that rubbish only produce more rubbish. You know, so these are things we need to look at. The ICT facilities, state government have recognized their importance. The one issue seldom mentioned, you see, quite often you read the newspaper, this, but a lot of them at the top there, decision makers, they don't realize the spin-off. For us architects, we realize, we know that if you do application online, for many government agencies, to force the government servant to work. Because last time when they do letter writing back to us and all that, they back then the letters, they play with the dates. But once you go into computerized, they can't play with the dates anymore. If you say approval within 40 days, we refer to our email 40 days ago. You cannot run. Apparently you need water and things around. So the 40 days, you tie them down because the submission, they cannot tamper with the submission dates, which marks the start of the processing of the plans. Alright, so it's good. We promote this ICT, so we see value in it differently from government. Government is a nice name, you know.
Philip, can I brief everybody?
Yeah.
On these issues, government already rolling out a plan. It will be doing it for e-submission called ESPA,
Correct.
which is linked to land and survey.
Yeah.
So actually now we make our comment already to them in the labs on I think Wednesday, this last Wednesday. So now everything is linked up. Now we haven't sort out the nitty-gritty bit, payment,
floor.
online, accept information, signing and so on. So basically, you one click on the button, you can buy everything from land survey,
Yeah.
submit it, extract everything, all linked. One is in, you will go all the way up to ministry level. Okay? So they already doing it already.
So we welcome this, you know, stakeholders look forward, all the decision making agencies linked together for faster. So it's easier for us with those agencies. But we also look at agencies and agencies. So now council cannot say, oh, I don't know, your letter with land survey. If land survey and councils are linked, land survey and SESCO are linked. They're all interlinked, then everybody would know instantly together. So coming back to this plan that I had, the residential, where you work, when you eat, and the government facilities that you needed, and your religious community. So when you do planning, you have to be aware what runs a center, what runs a township, what runs a precinct, what are in there. So you try and cater for this thing to happen within that precinct. Okay, this is the best. And then like I said, there's 4 in one area, you can have 8, then there's 16, 24, it repeats itself. So as long as the infield, you're just bonding, your cement that is bonding the bricks are strong, right? This whole thing will create a wall which will withstand. Existing situation. Planning is a function of most local government in the world, even in Malaya. But we, Sarawak, have a very unusual situation. In the mid-70s, Peter, your father knows this most well. Somehow it included into the land survey function. And I've done that many years, and I began to realize that it was all very self-interested groups. They took out the planning side so they can control, because together with the timber licensing, well, all this is recorded in the video.
Yes. You will be famous.
Together with the timber licensing, they want to control the approval of land. So, council cannot be trusted, because a lot of councils are run by SUPP people, and these are communists and leftists and all that time. Pack it up, give it to land and survey, who's supposed to be more neutral. Supposed to be. So, from that development, from this land survey function, it comes in the SPA. Then when our captain came in, he said, let's have a planning authority to monitor and sanction planning. They don't approve. Approval is still land survey. Your letter still come from land survey, but they monitor the sanction. It doesn't go through us. You cannot start having your subdivision. And including, this one is very special to them, alienations that they want that. Part 10, not X as in XXX, right? Part 10 and the SBO changes, the state building ordinance. This is the council ordinance will change to incorporate this. They call him the competent authority, planning authority. Okay? So we are all tied in like this for the last 30 years. Decentralization, it was a good name to him, and he kept it and said, okay, let us do this. We don't want everybody. We do. It's a good thing to have last time. But it has made costly to run the city now. We all realize that, in fact, all this extra connection, extra this, extra that, and even now, we come to work, there are all this jam in the morning. We can see how inefficient the whole thing is. The relaxed council enforcement on the ground also lead to the committee towards anarchical use of land. In other words, anarchy is free for all. You can do whatever. The moment you bought your piece of land, once you get your license, once you get your title, you can do whatever you want. And again, the council, because the council said, now this is put in a nutshell, the council said enforcement should be by land and survey. Land and survey said, council, you have all the enforcement, so they push this problem to each other. Whereas in most government, it's all under local government, and they should be the one that holds it. But we have a unique situation in Sarawak.
You can design exactly as you can. The council cannot say anything.
Yeah,
because
correct.
they have no power to say
Yeah.
your building exactly.
Even if you, in your building, your planning approval, you have a window there. Then later on, 6 months later, you want to change your
Window to the other side.
and you put your window there, it goes back to SPA.
But SPA, they are not architects. They
They are
are
not architects.
planners. They don't know how the building look like.
They don't care.
don't know the function of the, they're playing just like what you are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Boon, I just have a...
Okay.
Dr. Boon is the head of our
Thank you.
institute. Yes.
Ah.
Okay. I keep going. Yeah. He was caught up in something else, that's why he couldn't make it before. So, okay, so the approved land use deviated on the ground. In other words, the official planning, the moment you got your license, your copy or whatever, they do a lot of changes to. So what was approved as a land use, the residential areas now becomes a workshop.
Yeah.
You know, so never you get very mad with that. Comprehensive survey is needed to aid the future zoning and action plans. In other words, where are we? You know, we need to sort of stop the clock, as in basketball matches. Stop the clock. Where are we? We need to replan, the relook at the whole situation, because if you go to council, you go land survey, that thing is residential. But when you go on the ground, it's a mechanical workshop, you know. So we need to do. It's not been done. That survey. So if we want to do future planning, I think this is an area that we have to do a survey of what is in town. Public spaces, the parks and open space are poorly maintained, and the haphazardly. Whatever is left behind of a housing estate, of a development plan, they just park in the corner, you know, and then people don't go. The one that I can think of, which I was involved, there are quite a number of parks in Jalan Song area last time, and there's still one or two that area, which nicely done, grass every day cut, but nobody goes. And then I did one, the Taman Sahabat. And you go there early morning, you go there in the evening. It's just to put in the proper design for what you call open. What for you put just open space and nobody go. You put a swing there, doesn't mean that the kids will come, you know. So these are the things, it needs to be relooked at. These are existing situations. Roads of poor quality, wide bonding. I can't understand. I go to Australia, I go to Singapore, I go to maybe even Malaya. The good roads, there's a normal highway and all that. It's very nice. But here, the moment it rains, all the motorcyclists and bicycle guys, they will go out. It's not because of the rain, it's because of the bonding, you know. The car go past all this bonding, this dirty water that's on the road that comes out. So there's something wrong with the quality of work done.
Yes.
So this, not only the planning side, the actual implementation side needs to be relooked at. Strategy issues for effective changes, amend the outdated regulations, allow more input and advice on senior professionals in the building trade, do away with planning by small selected groups of individuals. I'm talking about YA and blah blah blah. More transparency is needed. You know, a few of them sitting down there, one room there, let's have this, let's have that, and you know, all in isolation. Apply zoning of cities and urban centers if master planning is impossible. We start with this historical city now. You know, it developed because of years of that one. Now, how do we go back? We cannot just, we don't have the money to buy over everything and start from scratch like Putrajaya, you know? So we may have to rezone, and like to do rezoning, like I said, you have to do that survey of what is there and how do you want it. And then bear in mind the components, the 4 components, the infill and all that. Instigate and provide leadership for action plans for each precinct. Divide out your city into precincts, into little, you know, groups of more manageable. You know, there's a school there, Kuting Town School, Jalamendo, you know, so generally, you know, this area is all housing. Then you have the government service, government servant, the Iskandar building, the telecom. Now we're gonna, at the back there, this portion, somebody supposed to get this piece of land. We don't know what they're gonna do for. But Fucha Road, so what I'm saying is divide out, these are major road access in and out of this one zoom area of the city. All right, so we can have little rethink of what do we do around this Chongling asset, for instance. We would have Tree Hills Park, Chungpa School here, Kali Garden. Here I think is developing into like industrial. If you go down this road, from Fuja Road, you go across the traffic light, going towards Sabajaya. That area is a lot of mechanic shop here. But the title is all residential. So okay, we're going to recognize some of these things. Maybe there is a need for those mechanic shops to there. As I say, the development was due to economic function. You know, people afford it. They say, hey, this seems to be a good place to repair your cars, to do this, do that. Yeah? So rather than going in and kick them out, study whether in fact it is a function that you need to promote. Then change your land use for this area. So these are the what I call the action plans. This is very common in Australia. They have little corners and Darling Harbour action plan, whatever. Then they zoom in, the professionals will be brought in to give their input. SPA planning using the big brush. We're suggesting, part of these strategic issues change. Ask the planners, they do big brush, meaning they look in the big sense. Leave the details to the council and other agency. If we must have SPA, if we're stuck with SPA, then let them just do planning. You classify that this land use, you tell me what are your setback, that's it. The rest, the building height, whatever, we will go in. The young people are very influenced by TV and social media. Hence, any lifestyle design has to take cognition of this. The CBD today, for instance, need to cater for late night activities, so adequate security. You got to, maybe the lighting in 5th Mile, in 6th Mile should be different from the lighting in waterfront area. We need to put them closer, the lighting. It's just simple, a lot of things are common sense. It's just that people who are making decisions are not looking at this sort of thing. The mayor is not looking at this sort of thing. He can direct. These are the leadership where we need. So because the city, you want to promote more of this, they're coming to some pubs or whatever, they enjoy themselves, increase the security there. This is a very simple thing for them to change. It doesn't cost that much. Planning for constant change of lifestyle and patterns of people's behavior. So, okay, we talk about Alibaba, for instance. People are buying things now all online. I predict within 10 years, 15 years, a lot of the malls will be in trouble. Complexes will be in trouble. So people are buying things. So there will be this change of lifestyle. So your design, what you have in the city, this thinking of what goes in will change. You have to take it account. Otherwise, the lifestyle will be in front of you and you are still stuck in the dark ages as far as this is concerned. SPA red tapes and procedures. More and more decision makers in the approving system. Right now, this is what is happening. Everybody wants to be part of the approving because that I was thinking the other day, we were called to a seminar to talk about stormwater drain. All the architects now have to take care of, and the planners have to take care of where system. You got to drain off all your water from your development. Every one of us now has. So, and every time we put in a drawing, you have to think about all this. So then you have a new requirement by SESCO, you have new requirements, everybody wants to be part, to be a decision makers. So this is what is killing the whole process now. But the big one is this, SPA is a traffic jam. The problem gets bigger when items keep going back to them. Whether from land survey, whether it's from council, or whether it's from even SESCO who send it, your drawing doesn't incorporate, go back to, they say, I cannot decide SPA. Yeah, everything thrown back to SPA. And once SPA, you know how difficult it is. Very complicated and frustrating. The guy is missing, he's no time for chairing the meeting, so there's no meeting for 6 months. Things like that, Deviation from set rules and fixes. So they may decide something, we have rules. You tell your client, cannot, then somebody else who got Kangkau
Yeah.
recorded again. Got in, and then he gets it done. And then you say deviation from set rules. I can't explain. We are bogged down by the details needed. So all the details that they want, as you submit this, as you submit that, and this is where it bogs down. Because and all these things goes back to SPA. Remove the irrelevant steps. Listen to the stakeholders. PAM, MIP, SHIDA. We're saying all the rules, procedures, once agreed with stakeholders to be followed and enforced. Install more one-step agency. Everybody agree UTC is success?
Yes.
Anybody who said on? I think it's a success.
I think it's success.
Government should have done more of this one-stop agency. And, we have one that called it. Oh, UTC is urban transformation. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's building.
I thought it's United Trading Consultant. No, it's the one place where you can pay your electric bill, water bill, your car license, your
Road tax.
passport.
One stop government.
One building.
One stop government
Licensing and
everything.
agency.
You can pay your taxes there. Everything.
Okay, you don't have to go, like last time, we all had to go. This building, they send you this building, then you do your thing, and then you go.
I think they open on Sunday as well. Every day 8 o'clock.
It's very flexible, and we love that. Except Puasa.
But they open until 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, maybe better. Yeah, you get married or not?
Yeah.
Get
But cannot park down there.
Yeah.
It used to be a car park,
Yeah.
The car park was not useful. So the government, took two floors and changed it to be this agency. See again, these are transformation,
This is fantastic.
these are where changes in our pattern of life. Right? So our design have to change accordingly to suit for that pattern of life. This is what I mean.
这个经验这个是他做最好的。
This then the second one, the Joint Technical Consultative Committee. This one is for the architects, planners, engineers, and what. We have one, and that one is parked under the Ministry of Housing. Local government. This is local government. And this is where we put our requests, our if some councils are not uniform. Coaching is different from Miri, and on the same law, they have different interpretation. Then we use this consultative committee to say, okay, let us follow this one, and everybody is uniform. So again, we need more of this sort of things set up, okay, so to allow for people to have their feedback. Review of the development central should be control. Development control standard. This is the old standard. 1994 was the last revision. We need to revise it with the stakeholders' input. We got to get rid of some of the things that is in that standard, because again, like I said, let us look at planning as a big brush. Leave the details in the DCS. There are too many details which throw it to the council.
Yes.
Don't put it under SPA. SPA planning decision only by big brush to include a PAM representative in its deliberation architecture and building. So this is one, I sneak it in now because I got a self-interest on behalf of all my colleagues. So all my colleagues here, we all want
We are
that.
acknowledged.
Because decision in SPA, they have a board, they sort of thing. Okay lah, you want to talk about plantation, you want to talk about smoke.
Yeah, no need to-
That one, no need. But once you talk about high rise or even
Professionals.
Yeah.
then we should have one member who to give some advice on the thing that is needed in those things. Is it still, I'm asking this question, is it still possible to merge back the planning arm of government into city council? It's there. In BDA we have it. BDA, the Bintulu Development Authority, they can subdivide land. They can sanction the planning.
Can they change SPA?
No, cannot. They still go to SPA.
Yeah, I mean, originally the idea was to do it all on their own, but they deviated. No, it was an executive decision. Their Bible, their constitution allows them to actually do it. But then because the white guy again said, no, you go on your own and I have no control. So they still need to send back to SPA for a study. These are DCS, the two most important standards that have overall impact on urban development in Sarawak. Plot ratio, that is what you can build compared to your land size. Most of the British colonies they have this plot ratio thing. Then the half height rule. The maximum height of building is controlled by distances between existing buildings. Okay, so I'll show you the drawing. This is one. You have a plot of land. If plot ratio is 2, you can build 2-story solidly on the land. Okay, but you can go up with all the setback. You can go, let's say 10-story, but that is smaller. But you still achieve the same 2:1. Yeah, your whole total area is still 2:1. So that is the meaning of a plot ratio 2:1.
But plot ratio here in our Malaysian context also include all utility.
It's a gross area.
It's a gross area.
Gross area, then total gross area, even car park. Gross area. Okay. So this is Stephen, you said recently it's 4, is it? 4 Sarawak. Plot ratio here.
No, depend on type. Shop house is currently is 4.
Yeah.
The way they calculate is 4.
Okay.
Okay? Because for example, your shop lot, they give you a title.
Yeah.
You build up to 4-story,
4 story.
that's 4 times. So that's 4 times, 4 ratio. That's the maximum you can get. But for high rise,
You know, in Semenanjung,
yeah.
the other day I contacted my friend before the talk. I said, hey, whether it can be anything between 10 to 20. He said he knows of one that is 20.
Because of the land very expensive.
It depends on the like KOCC. It's normal to find 14 to 20.
So
Depend on
they go
locality,
right
Very
up.
high. Very high.
Yeah. So this plot ratio is something which we are saying is a big item in planning rules, DCS. Let us sort this one out. How high do we want our building?
But
Okay.
from what I had the meeting yesterday, the state government policy they refuse to accept plot ratio. They still using density. They are very firm on that.
Okay.
They do not want to go down.
So they just want to vary on density. They're not. So we have to fight harder.
They increase the density. But
Increase density, don't go. I want it higher.
no. Now that I heard that they want to get that 1/3.
Okay. So you can do 1/3 setback. Okay.
But subject to density lah.
This is what they call 2:1. Half height,
Half height lah.
meaning your distance wide, this most external wall up to the middle of the road, you can go too wide. The height of your building is, if this is wide, you can go too wide. If this is Z, your H2 is 2Z. Okay? If there is no road in between, if the boundary and the boundary, you measure up to the boundary, okay, and you go up to that distance and half of that. Alright. So this is in the DCS. So this one, the reason for this is because of sunlight. What a big and fresh air coming in for the buildings. But in America, it's not half. It's probably much more. That is higher than you know. So different countries have their own. So it's not a. It's quite arbitrary.
No, I know.
But it has
Middle East, they are very close.
Mm,
The reason is that the study showed that the closer is cooler.
yeah.
So for them, it's not worry about sunshine. You get
They want the shadow of the next building onto
The other
your your shadow on your house,
Yeah,
so it's cooler.
Interaction is very much.
yeah.
Interaction is, yeah, the noise at night,
No peace.
yeah, no peace. Other lesser regulations, density, we got to change this, setback of building, too generous compared to Malayan, building size, some industrial buildings, much bigger. So it has gone, yeah, it's time to relook at all this. The bottom line is allow the architects and planners to determine, justify their creations. Right? These are professionals. We don't have too many of these rules. Most effective tool government has to draw the urban blueprint, lies in regulation and procedures. Right? Visual or scene future must be first derived. So the government come, what do you want of that vision? You know, what do you want? The key documents for planning and development needs to be reviewed. Land Court, DCS, the Building Ordinance, Strata Title Act, Housing Guidelines, etc. And changes should come from after dialogue and input from stakeholders. In other words, you know, don't just do it all within themselves.
I think, Philip, you can add on one more. This one, you should add in one more development framework, planning framework.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the way I see the process, how it works, the key is planning framework. Without framework, is
But we don't have a document on framework.
no, they don't produce it.
Yeah, no, I know, I'm talking about that needs to be reviewed.
Yeah.
So we need to invent a new one.
The land court is more technical.
Yeah.
Development control is all technical, SBO technical. But key to planning control is development.
So
planning
it should be
framework.
under this development control standards.
No, separate.
Separate.
Yeah, it's a framework. So they will
For planning.
produce the requirement for population, the policy. You are forcing the decision maker, policy maker down a path.
Okay.
They have to make the decision. So if I want to make Kuching as a major city, they have to make that decision. Then everything flow from there.
Okay.
Now it's like, I want here, I want here, I want here, nothing.
So you're talking about the overall
Yes,
series
framework.
of
So the framework is there. It means that you
Then
can
there's
apply to Kuching, Miri, Cebu. Then the people they make decision. Miri is not going to be as big as
Right.
Kuching. So they have a different policy. So we want that.
All right.
It's lacking those documents because once you have that, sure they will push for some form of master plan, of population growth, land use. They will have to know.
So okay. Following from that,
I
some
think
priorities, short term,
Yeah.
those they can do very quickly. Readjust, improve the transportation system, especially for the inner city. I'm very all up for, even though it's from the rocket people, free buses, you know. Penang also. The rocket city lah. So this are thing can be quickly looked into. I think transportation system is very key to our lifestyle right now. Upgrade the ICT facilities, promote online submission, we mentioned this, on formalities the government agencies. Step up the security measures, promote more neighborhood watches. Lately, for many years, this RELA and this neighborhood watches thing is quiet down already, but I think it needs to be stepped up. Instigate more accountability and transparency. These are priority short term. Don't spend much money, but can create a situation which will help. Conclusion, vision for the new Sarawak is urgently needed, including its plan and intention for urban centers. Recognize the bottlenecks and shortcomings in the delivery system, okay? Where did it get stuck in our decision making? Physical, mental changes are needed to sustain this effort. So this covers not just us, but also civil servants. The mental changes of what is needed.
The authorities.
Yeah, use the urban transformations to lead the state towards this vision. Okay. All right. This is a series of photographs I took recently. You are all familiar with this. You see this all buried all over ground in our city.
Yes.
I've been checking here and there that nobody record how is it buried, how deep it is buried, what direction they buried. So next time when we want to come and do things here,
It's
We're gonna take it all up
What
again.
is this? Is this a fiber optic cable or
Some of them is water.
water pipe?
These I think
I think it's fiber optic.
fiber optics.
It looks like fiber
I
optic.
don't know.
Yes, fiber optic.
As council, they don't know. Because again, each
They just
one,
want you to do what
each
they
one
want.
of the agency is working on
As
its
they
own,
like.
as they like, and
Without-
without buried, and without telling council about
Yes,
it.
yes.
And council don't want to ask them, please, you know, but for us, architects and planners, wow, they want to know everything. Then when these people come in and do,
They should
they keep
submit
quiet.
an execute drawing to council.
They must have all this execute drawing. If you don't
That's why
submit,
sometimes you think you're telling
you
come
can hear that, then these are all.
they blame the
So how do you do planning in this sort of chaotic?
No, I think the major issue here is that the utility of the different branches of the, whether it's corporatized or whatever it is, there's no one central agency who's actually coordinating the work.
Yeah.
And because I
No mayor lah.
no, not only that. Because they, no, because I gave her like.
With me, I will get all these bastards to do whatever.
Yeah.
No, that's why I
Should write to them.
This one does it around my corner.
New coffee shop.
They are very powerful.
This is
They
a
can
house.
insist on the way they want.
They
probably
property.
The field.
And they build right up to the to the boundary.
Boundary,
And they are going to convert this is a restaurant or cafe or whatever. And they make use of the car parking that's already there for the shop house on this side. So this is where they have a free for all residential house now to be there. I have no objection to this, you know, but let us formalize it and let us, if this is going to be for food place, let us welcome it. And if
Then how
it
do
is-
you get a license? How do they get a license? I know recently, not long ago, there was a food poisoning.
Yeah, it's only when they get food poisoning, then they worry about the
But they,
law.
but they change their name.
Otherwise, council is not worried about that.
I just don't know how council pinpoint. Let's say I got a food poisoning close down. Then they change the name of the restaurant. They open again.
Sounds very
Same place.
familiar.
Have you done things like this before?
No.
Yeah, how you
So I
know?
said, wow, I went there, thought how can the name change?
Mr. Wong, I think you're very experienced.
Yeah,
Wait,
Ah,
wait.
no, this my office.
Near his office.
Yes, your office.
Yeah,
Hey, the
yeah.
back-
Right to halfway.
To the way back.
I think this is something, is it, you see your comment, is that nice one to you?
No, I'm just saying.
The next
I'm just
meeting
saying-
we're going to have you
I'm just
there.
saying that this sort of thing is happening in town now.
Okay.
If laws are not enforced
All right,
properly,
I see.
and you have allowed things to move, how do you trim it all back now? How do you?
All right.
Let's say this caught fire.
Caught fire.
Regulations.
Let's go burn down for
Food
an
poisoning. There is no.
Can you claim by insurance? If I'm a neighbor, I should write a letter to council, hey, what is happening? If anything happens to my house,
Come up where?
I will sue the council. Council say I will go and take it
好，那
down.
边机器就看到它刚刚
These
变
are
这个也变
these are things.
Kim Long Book 嘛
Okay.
，Kim Long Book 嘛。
Then again, this end of
So
a
strict. Even
end of
one
a terrace
window
block,
slightly up.
sunrise
check.
advertisement,
And yet,
and they convert into
people shop
they
house,
convert
or
into
block it.
commercial advertisement company.
Against,
Again,
fire
you know,
safety
what you
regulation.
can see the number of
After you get all
motorcycles there, there are people working inside and all that.
Why you penalize?
And this is a high, this Futa Road number one.
High traffic area.
It should be based on the.
The house that we all wall up, it's a terrace house, all wall up with the,
How one desa.
it's all recorded.
Oh, it's like.
This, you know, all the big garage entrance, and they wall all this up, and they roof all this up. So is that what we are heading for, and is that what we are allowing? How do you take back? And this is the house,
Yeah.
again, extend right up. So this fire, is not hot enough, I suppose it's allowed.
Philip, like I was saying, it's the enforcement.
Again, is it building right? It looks very nice, the green, nice trees and all that. But the trouble is, you know,
It is a small one-story semi-D. Right inside.
allow all this.
So corner
This has
lot.
become, it looks pink, and this is a workshop.
Even
Even the cars are parked because it's a corner unit. The cars are all parked. I think about 4 cars in that walkway and not. And they've even put a roof over so that
一个
extending.
家来着，哎，手我的家，
Now this one, this is a shop house.
哎呀，
This shop house lot is up to here. But this guy has cleared the walkway, the corridor, and this is now part of his
播上面咧，
building. This is the one. Alright?
Yeah.
So you have a walkway that is now been walled up
咁樣地生，
and
No far for it.
yeah.
誒，
Oh, no, my laundry. My laundry.
There's a piano
I sent my laundry there.
school piano.
next door.
So you can see all this. If you try to design this,
My house is over here.
if you try to design this as a for council will disapprove you. But it's
So
not.
originally there's a 5-foot walkway.
There's a 5-foot walkway.
然後應該 box up 樣咯。
借咯，錢借。
Then again, I'm saying that all this piping that is, you know, under that, the next time when there's a box or something that's stuck there, and all this flooding happens, and people say, oh, you know. So again, you blame council say people throw rubbish. But the trouble is when people build this, another government agency build this, why didn't you control them? You know, and we have all this all over the place.
I don't think council even know notice about it.
They have to.
No.
Say no.
Ah, they know.
You see, eatery places, they come, they cross into the.
Topic talk. Oh, I live not
Public
far from
area.
there also.
Then this town will come to
Again, this is my favorite. I always question. You see this? What is this? Huh?
Reverse compartment.
Aluminium.
What is this?
Echo.
You see? All this is supposed to be inside here.
Oh.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work because the SPA, the planning people, this is the requirement of SPA, you know, this recess.
But it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
SPA.
But why should SPA tell us architect to design for this when people in terms of using cannot use it?
In Singapore, everything outside.
And
Especially.
your planning for this shop house cannot be approved unless you draw this in,
Yeah.
which is a detail which is ridiculous. If I don't tell it to a lot of these non-professionals,
They don't understand.
if I tell you now, you think that what the hell is the government that that we have?
No, I can agree. You know, you want to put recess, put it underneath, okay.
No.
But don't introduce the louver. The louver, that one cost that mechanical failure.
Oh, they say you must cover it up.
That's
I
right.
tell you.
My starting point is why should this be an SPA approval regulation? It should be. If it is, it should be council. Yeah, these are detailing that SPA should approve shop house, 3 stories high, 4 stories high, and that's it.
Yeah. 2C, 2R.
Leave all the detailing to us and the council to. But this thing with ding ding dong dong, between us and council and SPA, you send to council, council send back to SPA. You try to change this window 6 inches away. Council say, oh no, sorry, go back to SPA. Ridiculous. So again, this one is another example of.
Near my house.
Really? This one
Is it?
where?
Wait.
I never seen. Kengalan, is it?
No.
This the sand block. That's not
The sand block,
the sand block is
Coffee talk, I kept
Coffee talk.
Yeah.
No far.
this is another walkway, and they clamp it, they wall it up.
Oh, yeah.
And they on it.
This is what way.
Yeah, I just
So-
saw another one near Jalan.
So
Song.
these are items. It's gone rampant already all over Kuching. Everyone.
Hey, they
The
wall
corner
out
unit is double.
The next meeting I don't want to come already because near my house.
Next time we take a photo of your house.
This one is Xiang Xiang and Wadayang.
Aiyo.
So now they're making a lot of money, so they're changing, they're improving the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? The old roof is no longer useful, so they need this. So this is government land. In between these 2 shop houses belongs the government. They've claimed it and they say, I want to
pay
use
you
it.
per square foot, how much?
It is my land.
How much they
How
pay?
much
And
per
then
square
rent
foot?
it out per stall is
800 China.
800, 1,000 per month.
No, how much they rent for council per square foot? Like,
Did they?
yes, they pay council.
They pay
Because
council.
after a lot of pressure.
After a lot of pressure.
But the thing is, because they pay, all these people will then improve because I pay council. In other words, council is condoning that I own, make use of this land.
They may pay for 2,000 to use. They rent out for 6,000.
Unsightly
Yeah lah.
houses,
Yeah, my friend coffee shop.
Yeah.
coffee shop or house.
Coffee
Coffee
coffee house.
Coffee house.
Correct? Coffee
All I
house.
know this guy so effective, he even put a container on the side here.
The hottest,
Go around.
the hottest laksa.
Wait.
Bio.
Labuan Plaza, Labuan Plaza.
Okay. There's a container. He slot in a container and save all the beauty and just, this is really ISO. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I put back to this map here, so in case any discussion they want to, we have allowed for the Q&A and comments as we go along the talk. So if there is any more questioning and input and comments, how do you solve our?
I think the one, the biggest problem here is the SPA. I think everything, not just housing, any even planning regarding.
That's true.
Other places.
You see the council control the whole
You're
city.
gonna fund.
You see the
But
council control the building.
let me say first.
Yeah.
Is there any way for us to recommend to our state government or political party or whatever to completely abolish the
course.
SPA and replace with
Because
something better?
if-
I think you know better than me.
If SUPP is daring enough,
Daring enough, and
Maybe
maybe have a model. I think
It's
there's a-
related communities. Because the function of Sehati Research Institute actually is to bring in the policy in to the higher authority. For example, our local government, Dr. Sin, he should be able to do something about it. But I also understand that I'm wrong, forget me, this CM actually is such of the city. He is the one who, by law, is the one in charge of the city mayor. So it's not it's the council. Councils belong to minister. So our Silaban Joe, he has to be notified, and then Dr. Singh, he has the full power. It's a part of the South Autonomy, our local government. We can prevent anything. We can make law reforms over almost anything. We have to. But now we know that the person that know the staff is PAM, is really. I can tell you, I learned all these things, but I read some other thing in different angles, So as much as I'm frustrated, I just feel that one good thing maybe for Philip to think about is, after World War II, England was smashed by bombs. Only one survivor, that is St. Paul's Cathedral, right? That is a symbol of survival. I think Kuching has none. Kuching has none. Maybe museum is going to tear down, if not. So I'm seeing that almost everything is gone. It's tear down. Almost everything is gone or defense by bombs. Our human bombs, I call it. So I think Christopher Wren come in, right? This is Christopher Wren, I suppose. I really think so. We need to come out with something and change the scenario. Just like Kuching, we need to do something.
Did you question the ex-authorities?
Sorry?
Did you question about this matter, what you just said, the ex-authorities?
No, there's no equity. It's just that
The
over the
previous-
years,
No,
there was a
the
lot of.
previous years, you mean, Eric?
Yeah, I mean the ex-authorities, the people who make decision before, you
Yeah.
say there is non-survivors, nothing survived in Kuching. This is what you say.
No. He's exaggerating. He said that in England, the non-survivor is because of the bomb.
Yes.
But in Kuching, the non-survivor is because
Human.
people,
Human.
they took out
I
the
I do
properties.
I do understand.
Yeah.
Means there is nothing there.
Yeah.
Nothing is gone. Everything gone.
Not everything, but it's all bombed and relief.
By
I
human-
said, I
by
use the word
good.
defense, right?
Yes,
Defense.
that's
In other
right.
words, doesn't look like it anymore. more. Like our museum doesn't look like
Yes,
kid.
I
Our
do
istana
understand
doesn't look
that.
like kid.
I want, for me, I want to put things more serious. And I ask questions.
Yes.
Did you ask question? Did you
No.
question the X?
Because it was not
The
possible.
people who let these people come and destroy.
Okay. Very
Did you
simple.
question them?
Okay.
It's very simple
I
question.
think the function of SPA is something planning.
Yes, yes.
They
They're all
don't,
do it.
you see, after they plan, they finish, their work is finished. They pass to another department, land and survey. Land and survey just process it and pass it to you. When your drawing approved, they don't go and look whether this drawing, this building is the same or not. They
Yeah,
pass
maybe
it-
the previous
Yes.
authorities,
They pass
they
to the-
see they're looking this is correct. What is
But
happening?
you pass to
You
the
don't know.
Yeah,
If you
I agree,
didn't ask.
agree. But this is the effects of the whole
Yeah,
thing is
but
there.
when you
It's the
pass
evidence
this-
is there.
Yeah,
Let me
Yeah.
answer Eric very quickly. In the past, we have no avenue of putting our comment.
Yeah.
All our comments were all done privately.
Yeah.
But we have no formal body or a place, a forum to put all these comments.
Let me tell you something. It's not that. It never been any plan to Kuching.
No.
Yes.
It's
You also know.
not master plan.
Because if you open to receive a comment from people, everyone have
A master plan.
his master plan.
Yes.
So dictators are always the most successful leaders.
Yes.
So what is your dream as a lover of Sarawak?
Yes.
You are in the power, you put your decision there. I want natural Sarawak in the globe.
Yeah.
I want it. People, Texas, oh, Sarawak is, you want to feel a nature? You go Sarawak in Borneo.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
You-
That's right.
It's from the dream.
Identity.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
identity, yeah.
Identity.
It's from there. Then
the place.
the decision maker, he have his counselor, his advisor, always, not anyone, of course. He from there move forward. Like he mentioned about Dubai. He mentioned about Dubai.
Yeah.
Those sheikh.
Yeah.
They decided to put a modern,
Dubai.
I mean 50 years ahead of what US or Europe did before in 70s. 17.
Taller.
Yes. So, but for them, to make it as the capital, as everybody talked about it. But they didn't think that nature, all this, they just want that glamour.
Yeah.
The glamour. Dubai.
They quite successful.
Yeah, in one way.
Yeah.
But me, you
If you
ask me
stay,
to
if
go.
you are a native there.
No. If you ask me, would you like to go Dubai or Sarawak? I say, I'd like to go Sarawak. Why? I have my reasons. More nature, more close to nature, you know. You go Dubai, what you find in Dubai?
Sand.
No, it's not because of sand. Maybe you like,
Yeah.
but I don't like. That's why this is where the things bring the difference, you know. It depends on what you want from Sarawak. What do you want from Kuching? He said, Kuching, Miri, Bintulu, Sibu, all this. What do you want in Kuching? You want high-rise building, the town, the modern town, everything in one thing. You go your computer, you pay even your marriage certificate, whatever. It depends what you want. So the leader, that dreamer, what dream you want in Kuching?
Yes.
So what do you want? So he have his group. He's the dreamer. He have his group. We are with him. We believe on his dream, you know. Then it's from there up. We find already the head of the film. Then we follow. But if you open everybody with his comment, you will not develop Sarawak until 30, 80.
You got
40.
30, 80.
There are two,
That's my opinion.
there are two visions. One is for the urban centers. How do you want to run?
so much.
The other one is for Sarawak.
Yeah.
Generally,
when I decide,
They just
okay, I give you,
It's okay, you
I
prefer
give
to
more
the
specific.
you prefer.
When I decide Kuching is a natural.
It's the
Now,
right decision.
The riot is Sarawak, whether he's Ulu, he's Banda, or he's Kampung, you have to follow the concept. Your house is 200 square feet. It's 200 square feet. Of course,
What about in Singapore?
you have to study
What
this.
is
How many children, how many this. So you already, because it's something you bring people from domestic stage to modern stage. We are wild when we are domestic. We come here, I don't know how to take automatic escalator. Yeah. So it is, and the education is inside, is the backbone, of this. You educate the urban as the banda, there's the outside as the, so means when a boy study in Bau there, and one in Kuching town, when they meet, they're in the same level thinking. Oh, you're not coming from Kampung, I'm from Banda or this. So this
What
is
is
where
the
actually
model
this
that we
problem
can
happens.
borrow, like from
Everywhere.
True.
People sold their land, $1 billion. They come
But
to
how
they choose the minister because they bought their house. You need the money. What you say? You mentioned this point just now.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
actually borrowed.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody,
Okay.
the authority really firm, and they have their own dream, their own. Okay, I put it dream because dream is for everybody.
Yes.
They have
They
their own.
use-
I want to build maximum 10 stories
They're supposed to.
in town.
Yeah.
Maximum 4 stories outside of town. You cannot cover it with your comments. No, it's late. Whether you are NGO, SPA, whatever. No,
Where is he now?
It's more in New Zealand. Now, this is the model. We follow the model.
That is my essential point.
No, Johnny Sim.
To decide what do we want.
Senior.
Once we have
Very
decided,
good.
once we've decided, we lock it in.
We find
Now
out
the
the
government
government
and
decide.
the government can deviate, make new changes. You already
What
decided.
we think, I think
You
it's
need
a
to
good
do
idea.
Then we follow rules.
Okay, can I bring everybody back? Dato'. So, any other relevant? No, I think the comments that,
You're very right, sorry, I just,
Yeah.
in every, you're very right, you pointed out. Just that we are in the thick of doing something. For example, we're trying to find ways to identity, build an identity for Kuching. Like we talk about smart society. And then this guy is already more or less commissioned to take care of our urban studies. So I think one of the things that we do have something, but it's just no continuity. Like Miri is considered a resort city, which is under the Lee Kim Chin. So now we're trying to revisit the whole thing, and we find that like what we say, the Sehati can play a sociological research role. That role, like just like get everything the big picture. But eventually the PBA have to come in with the technicalities. Then we convince them. That's why this meeting is so important. We talk without knowledge, but we do have a big picture. Compare the whole world cities, smart city, whatever you call city, we have covered that. But we haven't covered technical part and from his eye and from the architect's eyes.
it's also the timing. The reason why this is now been brought forward is because of that change of leadership at the top there. The timing is there. So we try to take advantage of that change and push it up further up the line. And we know there is a problem in Kuching, the way things are decided. We know the way how people on the ground and what they decided don't seem to make. Somewhere online, that middle position ought to be reached between, like what Eric was saying. Did you ever sound it out? So we are looking to SUPP to bring this up. That what are the forum, what are the right places to bring up some of these needs and vision and dreams that we want to see Sarawak and how we want to see our urban centers. How do we bring it in?
No, I feel since you mentioned that, I think the policy maker will always be policy maker.
Yeah.
Because based on our dialogue all the time with them,
Yeah.
we have very close working relationship with them. So we know how the SS and everybody is working. That one we cannot change them fundamentally. This is the job under the democratic rights. They have the mandate to do policy making. Okay? But what we can input, which are they very opening up, is engagement. So that's where we influence the policy. Like I talked in the previous the concept. It's about the vision of what we want. Okay? Then we can demand a more structural and more transparent process. A structure means more orderly development process. Then, because you have a vision, which is drive from the grassroots, the community agree that what we want. We don't want to be like KL. Like Eric said, we want to be a Sarawak. Kuching is a distinctive type of city. Maybe the model of all these high-rise is not suitable for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Or how high we go lah.
How high we go.
And it is
Yeah.
not.
We can
And
lock
it
it
is
in.
not.
We
You
don't
may
need to.
have a smart city.
Yeah.
Before you have decided to make smart city,
Yeah.
you have to build the smart people who's gonna
Yeah.
build the smart
So
city.
that's why I said.
There is a logic, Dr. Philip,
Correct.
no?
Yeah.
There is a logic,
Yeah.
you know, and you cannot be. I mean, Kuching it's already. I mean, for me, the direction is that Kuching is something. Is a model, you know, in Borneo. Why don't you put it as a model? Somebody decide and put it as a model.
Whatever we do here, Batong will follow, or Seraton will follow, Cebu will follow. So it's very important. This.
Yes, and it's good in business.
I think those, those need to be answered first. What kind of city?
Yes.
Then what kind of community want to get involved in major
No, build
public
the
spaces?
SUPP.
No.
Build the
no.
SUPP
Yeah,
as a small
yeah.
people behind.
So what I mean
Because
is
the one
Push it, I mean,
Yeah.
some body,
It's a
some,
vehicle. It's a vehicle.
we
because
must have
planning
process
is
where
a very political process.
we want
You know,
this.
it's nothing. You have to do planning.
Yeah.
You
Do
can
we
find that
want to follow
political body.
KL segregation
Yes.
Okay.
of races?
And once that political body goes
Sarawak
in,
are distinct.
it
We
must
don't
have
like
the
living
daring.
Together we
the
never
ability
talk about
to-
issue.
to
So
push
why
it.
should we do that
Yeah.
distinction?
Yeah.
Now what I say,
We as
the
community,
educated
with
ones,
other
you know, with the
communities,
smart
must
ones,
bring it up to
bring it
the-
up, push it through.
I think Philip, may I just add in, because it's quite important here. When we're talking about the stakeholders, the business people, the institute, the technical as well as sociological, and then of course we have the citizens, all the stakeholders coming in. And that's why I at this point I would like to invite you guys to really join Philip and join a group, because eventually this group that the top the ACF will look at and pertinent to city development because there is somebody they have to look to towards it and you know, carry that burden, carry that responsibility. So let's please be involved, and then we'll go subsequent meeting, because then we got a CCM and then we'll get it done. Because if you don't, this is like what you said, it's totally political question. And if you don't maneuver properly, someday take over and it is continued by bombing again. They don't know, they don't have the knowledge. They will do it. They will do it because it's such a political thing again, which is the wrong direction.
When you have a good intention towards your town, there is no politics involved inside.
Yes, but it is
No. We stay in this soul first. We stay in this soul. Now we stay in this soul. Once you have good intention for your town, for your children, for your neighbor, as intellectual person, intellectual person is on. He's here. Other people who are not educated, they're below, so they can't see 3D. But you see 3D.
Yeah.
You can see 3D. It's
Then they
only
ask
God,
you.
you know. So you have some responsibility somewhere. So if you come to me, I look at things 3D, 4D, and he's looking 1D or 2D, want to impose his mentality on me, I put him back in his place. I say, wait, I know the color of your hair on the head.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? This is how to
Correct,
select.
correct.
From the
That's why we have to prove our substances.
Yeah.
Get it done,
It's
and
between.
they will listen.
between,
Political question can be sidelined, or we
Yeah.
can change,
Of
reformulate.
course, there is always a policy somewhere. You have,
But
you have to respect.
to be fair to government, over the recent year, they are more and more open. We, like what Steven was saying earlier on, because of our Institute of Architects group, we get invited in to some of these dialogue. And we are glad to report that ever since Adinan came in, and now taken over by Abang Jo, the response, you know, from government side, much faster, and they are more open, and we attend all of them. We don't even avoid them. We attend and we help them, and they are opening up. So it is very important. Now the next layer of people need to also give us your feedback, because this idea belongs to you. This dream is also yours. Alright? So every time, you know, you got an avenue to talk to me, to talk to whoever that come in, hey, why don't you bring up like so? Most welcome, because now the government is opening up. Let 100 flowers bloom. You want it now? So let us, you know, let that sprung up. So let us take advantage of that, and that is why today this talk. Otherwise, you know, I've been in the market for
Because
50 years and never hear.
Because DBKU has done what I call that, Safe City. They have so many. They have organized conference and things like that. So I think it's the one is lacking now is Palawan.
And again,
And because of
MVP.
So
behind.
MBK is
MBK
also
so big.
nothing. So because I have spoken to
Why?
Resource Planning.
why?
Because those
No common sense.
Actually, they are
No
very,
common sense.
they are very
No sense of
receptive to
timing.
the idea that we,
no, the one who change
You have to come
drawing
from
are
us.
not even
the vision
not even
of
qualified to do
what
so.
our city wants
Yeah.
to
You got
If you are
must be
really,
somebody better than
set a
you,
group,
no better. And then
tackle
they are
the
just
problem,
an technician.
show them
You try to
what
explain to
our
them,
city
they don't
can
know.
do.
Then how can you get a good
Yeah, that's right. So that's the
You
point.
can't make it.
Yeah.
That's the point. We are
Exactly.
talking about 3D and 2D.
No, you cannot.
It's always broken.
That's why
Yeah.
the Ministry of Resource
They
Planning,
can't even check.
they have a lot
How
of
can
managers.
They don't have a lot of manpower to feedback from. They can't even
Expertise.
It's
understand.
very frustrating.
So
Yeah.
They don't even
they are,
understand.
You know what?
Just like I told
They have no
them,
expertise.
no, they don't have resources as
swimming
well.
pool, you want disabled people to
They don't have the leadership.
wheelchair.
Driving.
I tell you,
But
You need a,
do you
But they-
allow
they-
a
they put in
wheelchair
a
to
rule,
swimming
they
pool?
say-
They say you must provide
Yes.
facility for handicapped
handicap people go to swimming pool. The swimming pool has no security guard, no lifeguard.
Is it more likely to kill him
They
than?
have to kill him then.
the
But I tell you, you don't, we are going to tell, we're going to put out a citation, no disabled people should come here without guidance, right?
That will be.
the broad.
You is talking about design for hotel and all that, and then about swimming pool.
So they use the hotel.
And then the guy who checking the drawing say, you must provide for handicapped to go to the pool.
You can just imagine, or even your apartment, you know, and you get one person at
I
home,
gotta go.
they wheel down the
So-
corridor, go to the swimming pool. If they say you must.
See, these are very common sense thing.
How
And our council, if they are run by people with this stuff, how are we able to progress like what Eric
Yeah.
is saying? Because the brand is already having a fault.
Yeah.
We are going to have a stroke.
No,
very
They
soon.
are the last person to say.
Because 45 years,
Huh?
you're going in human, what they call it,
Like,
yeah, in 45 years, you stop learning,
Yeah.
you're practicing what you learned before.
Yeah.
So if 45 years, he born today, I'm 55, he's 10 years. Do you know, I learned from him what he learned today more than
That
45
45
years before. So we have to recognize all of this kind of generation and generation, you know. Experience, and after 45 years is experience. Today, Philip is experience.
Yes.
You want to teach him something, he will forget. Get up there, he forget. Something is experience, it becomes something
Thank you
automatic.
very much.
Only 1 month lah.
His experience, his experience talking for him automatically. In the formula inside, give you the result.
Because
The shortcut the learning process. I went through several hoping that this shortcut, they will then jump to the next concept and you'll learn more.
I do understand your message very well.
Because I do not learn anymore.
So,
I read
guys,
45.
gentlemen, Philip, just take over a bit, and after that we have lunch. But I just want to encourage each other here that this is the first, but actually we are planning for a day-long seminar for urban study. And actually we have in mind already in Singapore, we have Singapore foreign minister. Dato' Billion is all coming in. He's a smart city, smart nation guy. We had him in mind, already contacted. So they will become forthcoming things, but these are just groundwork way down. So I thank you very much for you guys. It's really particular. Let's give a little clap to him. Don't leave us without your contact. I don't see the contact there. I saw your name, but please leave your whatever so that we can form a group. Form a group as a start. Then after that, we will hopefully keep our fingers crossed. Then we have something better for Kuching. Okay. Thank you, Philip. Please say that and
Where are you rushing? Traveling?
No.
Oh,
Because if I don't say I'm rushing, other people will not rush. Because I feel very bad. I've got you guys to come for this lunch meeting and there's no lunch. But I'm not responsible for lunch. Okay, my job is just to talk. So by saying I want
because of your
yeah.
Because we have SUPP and all those, it has to be integrated. It cannot be isolation.
It is integrated.
This has to be integrated. Before it is
You are in this kind of things.
I have been in this for many years and especially
regarding what
the
you
young
say,
people,
Peter, initial fact, it started
now he's going
for
he has
Kuching SUPP, Ar.Philip Chang.
he was very
But
architect.
CM wanted,
Then he went back to
why he wanted to start the other side?
Australia.
Everything they want to
Now
start.
all this is so nice to
Because the funding will be coming from top.
So I want
So to ask for the funding, you have to go ask.
put there.
When the money will be extended all the time.
Take over the vehicle.
Take over the vehicle.
No, it's not too
The vehicle is there
Conductor.
for you people to take over and run and drive it, you know. But you must know where you're driving to. Don't keep going round in circle like this one. But you look at this map, it is interesting to see all these rivers. I was surprised when I started drawing it. You know this area is the Tabon Dayak area.
That one?
This area is Tabon Dayak area. You know? And this river is actually coming in and joining this one, and this one goes to where, you know, Samiba. Our land. area. It goes.
Is that river still around?
Yeah, then this is Balkawa.
Oh, is that river still around?
Yes, yes. All of them.
Oh. That is the mountain. Quyết trà lỗi được nè. Cái máu
Cái máu is this one.
Em nói thì tao bằng đây à?
No. Yeah, its starting point is right. The figure is going up to we see all this area. It's very into all this. And this one goes up this way. If you look at the old drawing, there are major rivers through here. This Balungan, Kama River, they're very huge, you know. This is the NDKS Anak, okay? And that river is very huge. It goes all around this area. And this one is Balungan, Kama River. They all go through. Who? When? When? I don't know. No, he was supposed to go to Bintulu 2 weekends ago. But then last minute, he didn't go. He changed. Because there was some problem there, and then he thought it better not to go. So actually, you look at Kuching map, this one, it's full of rivers that we should revitalize all these rivers. You look at it, this is the L. This one through Taban Jaya. This is Viva City. Viva City going through here. So that's channel. And another one from this side. All coming through. This is Sutong Land. Sutong Market is here. At the back of Sutong Market, the river starts from here. It goes all the way at the back. Viva City is this side. And this one, sorry, okay, this one is Viva City. This is Taban Dayak. That's not this one, it's not. This one is Sungai Mahoni, right? This one is the Taban Dayak area. But for a river to move, there must be a hill somewhere here, high point, to start off a river.
Catchment area.
Yeah, these are catchment areas, this river. But where are the hills? Here is Batu-Bintang. Batu-Bintang hill is quite high. This must be another one here somewhere. There is another item I was thinking about over the last few days, but I did not bring it up. There is a sewage. The sewage is located, I think, here somewhere.
You mean the one
after the bridge? Yeah. The what do you call it? Central main line.
Central sewage system.
But the trouble is they bury all this piping all over the town. The CBD area especially. They haven't got too far out. But Wong Tiong was telling me the other day they're leaving small pipes because there is no high rise or anything at the moment in this area. So they
don't do the big drain.
So they think that 8 inches is suffice. So if you want, now that I'm proposing all these high rise,
I don't see.
not enough.
No, we are putting in the okay. It's a
So some of the high rise now
I thought we
they
don't need with that project we don't need to do this.
no, the part of it actually you're not the right one.
so if
And that
you
project costs millions.
500 million,
They don't.
500 million.
And then
So if you try to
So if the city grow,
What
2 feet, what can you do? You put 1 big rock,
What they're doing is make sense.
Without
Everything goes down there.
open tender.
Hey,
Yeah, lah. What
No,
what
how
they
is
do
our
is
project?
they
That's
think
just-
it's
They only do it for like a set of worldwide something to cater one job. They never even play future.
You really have to walk further.
I rather you do it right in the everywhere, but because
Can
it's
ah.
proper place. What can you do? I can't
But the key is
The whole project more than 2 million. This is the first stage. The total project more than 2 B.
I know.
Yeah.
I want job.
Central sewage
System.
system. How is it now?
I want
No,
job.
no use, ah.
If the government was very serious
Yeah.
about this sewage thing,
Yeah.
then, well, the sewage program will be on for about 8 years, I think. It goes back that far back. They should have insisted all along the government
Yeah.
to have their pipe
Yeah. Link to the.
waiting lah,
Yeah.
waiting for them to be linked,
Yeah.
rather than ending up with 70 tank, 70 tank, 50 tank. Next time they come and link again.
How, Philip, have you seen the main trunk?
They're not serious.
Yeah, next.
It's either not serious or the guy at the top who make decision have no common sense.
Philip, they are
This
basing
is
on the
the-
current population, Philip. That's the problem. The main trunk is only this size. So, each one building, I know, 38 story. That one building, the sewage come from there, will clog the
whole main pipe.
Có
Forget
phải
it.
không cái gì? Bây giờ nào đây là bây
So,
giờ?
it means that,
Why does they big?
you know, they assume that Gucci will
I thought
be
it is
historic.
I thought this time I don't need to
That's it.
provide safety
Don't need
tank.
anything.
Must be that side. I don't know why you need to do it tight like that. Anybody can do it nowadays.
Some of the
There's
youngsters.
somebody drill, we can do it ourselves.
So,
Why
actually,
you have to
these people do
do it
it.
and charge for that
Depends on
side?
existing houses and
all the
existing.
Napoleons.
The existing one,
All over.
there's no forward planning. So they were just doing for the,
No, I can foresee
To
the whole
fulfill
system
the
will be locked down
application.
and block everything not useless.
we increase the population.
Yes,
你
definitely.
要搬走了，我看你。
Doesn't
你没有
work.
来不要紧，你来了我搬走。
nobody.
你不搬来，你一个人搬过去，你看你来了。
每次会做那个 sewage poisoning。
But they know until the last break where they should put it.
Last time you were thinking, wow, you can connect.
Well,
You can do
hey,
design.
you know, everything. But I didn't when you take only that side, take hot rock, only that side, you know, just done, you know. That side for that hot rock.
I think if
You say
you flash twice, I cannot
All
the population is
flash twice,
Every police is back already. Now that is summary.
除非那些在
electric
That's what the thing one
This is
cut
another
to
SPA
tell
also.
the CA.
Another SPA also, right?
Yes.
now CN talk about MRT.
Yeah, also
因为是做不好其他的
May
MRT
done at the
No, no, I agree with the master plan for
for
MRT.
future.
Mass
much,
transportation.
much
Yes.
going
The
down.
method how you do it, we can debate about it, because cost
Yeah.
efficiency with the economics and the answer. There are many methods around the world. That's why I suggest like Colombia, they use bus first. Only when population.
We have actually
They use
during
train.
Adinan time
They can do
we
it.
have already earmarked 3 buses, big public utility company, 3 of them to start with free buses for city.
No, no, what I meant
But
is
for
that,
Kia,
well, what I meant is like this. You must have a master plan. You see my reasoning for it. You obey my explanation. Because once you have that transportation network, when you decided network, you decided the population growth. You limit it. So then you can spur the development around the node of that transportation hub. It become a community. Then it makes sense for
Yeah.
development
Yeah.
of transportation
The mass
link
transportation.
and the facility amenities.
Mm.
Because if I make a node in Batukawa Township, then it spur the development around the area. Because people say, I can live somewhere, I park my car there, I can use that system. But now, we don't even know where it is.
Where is the budget?
It's like you carry a gun
Have you ever taken a bus?
You want to shoot, you shoot a bird. Where is the bird?
Many years back lah.
Many years back.
Like once or twice, and I let's say 5 times.
That's why.
Kuching people, let's
But
say
if you plan
5
for
was
this,
209.
Just simply phenomenally.
Oh, I thought the last one
Why
was
if
really
you're
a bus.
thinking of testing,
It's true that we should start with free buses for
You think it would be
some fast
just to
service
buy
for
vegetables
cities
from
and
the local
initially for
retailers?
bus city bank.
It doesn't make
You know,
sense.
it's kind of guess
this area,
making money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you think it's all bank lah.
Just go around the future.
Then no wow.
But I think
I don't want
you
all those things there.
like the correct advisor. The people around
I may take it also. If I should go to Sunday, I can come from my place. I won't drive.
Then the
Now a lot of people using Uber.
Yeah, KL is already last time I paid 60
Those who have
riyal.
interest.
Now I pay 5 ringgit.
We will say something.
Then they say something.
Uber, 5 ringgit.
Now they are seeing something when you because they wear that people don't have to then your penetration
Last time 50 ringgit.
I think by name.
something, I think different, you know. Buses means you make modern things. It's already
You want to make a music and proper
that's why they are saying, no, that's why they have to set one. Look at the system.
I mean, some good thing with tech, some bad thing with
The real answer
That's
is
why I mentioned earlier.
CM is just the chief cross meeting. That's it.
So Kuching people have
Yeah, it depends on what are you talking about lah. Some of them
small
people
so
are coming.
the small committee, the group committee to decide. So it depends on what the topic is saying. The level get higher when it get more critical. Yeah.
It's a basic, it's an initial stage.
I used to use
No, now the system is a bit different from
now
the problem is SPS there, so you have to go to local government ministers and to talk about buses. And to go through local government ministries, council, the在上一次 maybe you get to the minister 在上 cabinet meeting, then somebody has to kind of document that. Then only
and I cannot work
so 他不是经济能力特别有，也就他们在
riot. We follow what is coming. Here we are talking about the institutions. Because we are part of it. Yeah. So we are the ones began. I mean, you are the ones began here. So you are the ones we should be following. If you give him a bus, he will use bus. You give him a bus, he will use bus. You give him a train, he will use
Let's say, cook, let's say you have
have everything there. You know what I mean? Make assuming somebody is there.
This was a
What does he know? His background, I know. Even the tourism case,
this goes back to
but only is okay lah. Only is just you know. These people stop
yeah.
Our living somewhere now is
Even
hey, your car 100,000, 1,000. Will you stay there?
It's different.
No way.
So I think we are
So people don't want to live there.
Okay.
Just
Excuse me, there's a good question here. Where do we go from here?
I think what we should do is that we should formulate.
Now, what we're going to do is step one. From what we know of the institute work, we will summarize today's thing. Step one, we probably present it to Dr. Steve, being the Minister for Local Government. So some of the points they brought up. At the same time, on our own individual, those who got the influence and privilege to meet with other professions and all that, we will also bring up that some of the points that we raised up today, and we also raise up that there is such a body inside SUPP thinking that they can also participate in the networking classes. Other than that, I think there's not much we can do immediately. But I believe that even little small thing, as long, it's just like 3 years ago, if you say that we're going to talk about autonomy, rights and all that, I'll say nonsense, no such thing. But it is that little bit has come in, and the pressure is now on for the state government to prove itself. If it doesn't hold on to this right thing, somebody is going to go up and say, I'm going to press it. It's the same on this planning. We say something, somebody says something, everybody starts saying, oh, this pressure is on because Abang Joe, he himself said, I'm going to have LRT. Good. Where is your station? How far I walk from one station, drop off? I don't even know who is thinking about what this thing. And we are supposed to be architects, planners. We're supposed to in the know and have some input.
Yeah.
I'm hearing things. And somebody got to tell us. If you don't tell us, we're going to tell you.
yeah.
You know, that is the way things are now going to be run. Before Adinan, we had the master planner, he's so clever that everybody leave everything to him. It doesn't work. We're now in this stuck. So now the climate is let us propose and say something. Try our best, put it up on all angles without going. I think this is the way we go from here. Is to president. Officially, I said we'll put it up to the party.
Yes.
Party is our car. Is one way. This is political, and the only way is to do it legitimately. So I'll thank you all for coming today, and I hope, if there are related issues and thoughts in future, we will still inform you guys, and hopefully we build up. We will tell your friends, especially those like-minded people, that there's such a body here every 2-3 weeks.
Once a month at least.
Something on. If it interests you, come along and put your 2 cents worth.
You also can organize something, no problem. Let us know, let us know to benefit people around. Use your own expertise. Use a venue.
Yeah, maybe you are a businessman, let us know. What sort of business you can do coaching, Exciting.
Exactly.
We are talking too much buildings now, maybe, Maybe next time one of them could be, lawyer talking
Yeah, yeah.
Really materials.
Yeah,
Materials.
yeah, whatever. No, yeah.
The business people better.
Yeah, I think business people,
No, even like housing association,
yeah.
the people who live in
Yeah.
houses, what kind
Like you say,
of
affordable
should
living,
die,
how?
yes,
How?
yes. Oh, we have to form the
Now we are looking at this economy.
Carry that.
Right? We think the problem is in this
And after that,
affordable
we
living. That's the
slowly
problem. Why the market is down right now? Because
eventually see
the living is getting more and more expensive.
So
Yeah.
how do we solve that problem? Our economy is so
It's
small.
affecting the business sector as well.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
getting right
definitely.
now.
Yeah.
Affordable living is the
Yeah, we haven't reached there yet.
You don't plan probably next rabies will come.
Yeah.
Next health problem will come.
how to make
Tell them, then they will
living more affordable.
they will buy vaccine or buy
Cost effective,
our
cost effective.
our business.
Not just about buildings.
Yeah.
Food,
The road system,
everything,
we are
yeah,
wasting
yeah.
so much fuel on the road.
Ah,
and that
that's
fuel
right.
money you can use it for other
Yeah.
purpose.
Health.
It's efficiency. It's not efficient.
That's why I don't believe that we should live so far away.
Like schools.
We all have to get traffic jam every time to come to work.
Yes.
You know, let's imagine a workplace and your living place. There are, sorry, go beyond the 10 story, beyond the 10-story building, higher than that. By the time I come down from work, this traffic jam, this turn, I'm at home already. I'm back to my house. Like right now, it's all jam because we are all trying to go back to 7 mile, 8 mile,
Wow.
Kota
Scary.
Samara.
I tell you, scary.
This
Where do
jam,
you live?
you know?
You can.
Oh, yeah, you're lucky fellow. Okay.
Yeah,
even worse than us.
Then they got train. We
I
had
saw
train.
I saw it to you, you stay in
They
KL.
have highway.
No, but
all
my
that.
place,
Ah.
to my school, to my children's school, my office, I can go by
Train.
walking.
Ah.
Before I move, I did my calculation.
Ah.
House here, school here, my office here.
There you are.
This is
Yeah,
this is the essence of my talk today.
Yeah.
We have to think about where you work,
By bicycle,
where you work,
I don't use bicycle, but
where your children go to school,
just nearby.
where you eat.
I thought about my wife, not me.
They're not Nigeria.
Not Nigeria. Oil rich.
Very rich, yeah.
Because
But they have very wrong government.
Are you confident?
almost every office all are here. So people have to come
No, no,
in. Whatever lah.
It's just a visit. Barcelona is the
Okay.
most densest city.
Thank you.
And yet, they don't have that high. They only have 60 stories.
Looking more for days and
你现在去政府了，做一点东西，你花多少时间？对呀，多少时间？就证明你在新的东西。
People around.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
It's a pleasure.
How to Eric? Nice to thank you. You really live in KL.
Oh yeah, right.
You ever thought to come back here? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, another time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's okay, leave it there.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah. We need more lah. I will follow up. Thank you lah.
Anaknya pun dokter 打枪。 karaoke as a competition. 40 over years ago.
Yang mana?
Place of honor.
But eventually what we are going to do is to get in the but correct. That is that you see the research team, all researchers it's a team control and then
No.
other people for so many, but don't want too many because we put them a position, you must move on together, otherwise yeah. So now I'm trying to, that's why they don't think, one is we go back. We improve our capacity. Yes. Only the you go to this one, let's see next election, and look out. You know what I mean? You email those XPP.
等一下，等一下，等一下。